AfterBuzz fans, it's the season finale of Hard Knocks, a Cleveland Browns edition. Find out who got cut. We're talking about it right now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Very long intro. It's Hard Knocks, the after show here at AfterBuzz TV.
Yeah.
The last one of the season.
That's it, man. One of the rare teams with 5 games or 5 weeks of preseason.
And cut day.
Yeah, the worst day of football for any young man. So, but it was a nice show though.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it all right now. Not just season 13, episode 5, but the entire season. We'll start with the final episode, which was tonight. It starts with something interesting. Michael Kendricks. Immediately after we taped last week, the next day he goes and he gets charged by the federal government for insider trading. This is more than just football.
Man, they don't like when you mess with money, do they, man? Lord,
they'll come after you real
like for
quick.
real, you can do a lot of stuff, but you cannot insider trade.
Yeah, speaking of cuts, and he's the first one that gets cut. So Michael Kendricks, not just in trouble with the Browns, he's no longer a Cleveland Brown. He was cut, and he's in trouble with the federal government. Who knows if he'll ever play football. Hopefully he can figure out a way to stay out of jail for a long time.
Yeah, be out of jail.
But this episode, like most of the others in this season, were focused on just quite a few, borderline players. And we find out towards the end of the episode who makes it, who doesn't. For the most part, everyone kind of gets cut.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like a lot of the, as an athlete, man, it's tough, man. These coaches don't care about anything but the bottom line. Like they can say whatever they want. They care about your family and stuff like that. They care about they care about whoever can help them win games. You can have penalties. You can miss practice if you're a standout. You know what I mean? If you're on that bubble.
Well, I mean, it's their job too.
That's what I'm saying. But don't be acting like you care about them.
I mean,
that's my biggest problem with all coaches.
Oh my gosh, they do care.
No, they don't.
They do care.
No, they don't.
Oh my goodness.
You think they care?
They do
you
care.
guys tell us. Do they care? We got TK on one side of care. We got
they
Evan
do
on the
care,
other.
but they also care about their job. It's like you're on an airplane. It's like, do you put you have to put the mask on yourself first.
You do.
You need your job.
You got to put your mask on
and
first.
then you put it on somebody else. So boom.
Listen, I'm just saying this. So it's real, like you're doing so well. Oh, you're doing so good. Like cut. Like a wall.
Can't keep everybody on.
Speaking of the cuts, early in tonight's episode, we see one of the offensive coaches, Todd Haley, and he talks to the team about how they are still competing, and lots of young guys will be playing in the final preseason game, getting a majority of the time to really showcase themselves, not just for the Cleveland Browns, because if you do get cut, you have a chance to show yourself on tape for the other 31 NFL teams and franchises that may want to pick you up. Mm-hmm. And we see that actually play out in the story of Carl Nassib, who we can fast forward as he's one of the cuts, but he ends up getting picked up by the Tampa Bay Bucks. So it's not just about playing for your own team in training camp. You're playing for all the other teams.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about last week. Like when you're not that draft pick for the Browns, you're not that guaranteed guy. And you're on a team. That's your goal.
It's your showcase.
Yeah, you want to be on the Browns. That's cool because they put you on. But your job is to stay healthy, ball out, because there's 31 other teams, and you can see what happens. It's not all is not lost. You're right. That's your audition. And shout out to him though. Other teams need people. Other people get hurt. Other people go down. Oh, I like that guy. Yeah. Why did we get that guy? Okay, let's get that guy. You know what I mean? So it's a cool opportunity for the players.
Maybe the Bucks needed some financial advice, and that's also what they saw in Carl.
I like him though.
I have to say.
He's a positive guy and he's a hard worker. I like those kind of guys.
When he has pimples, it's different.
So another coach that we saw right after was Bob Wiley, and for me, one of the stars of this season on Hard Knocks. He talked in every episode. He didn't have that much to say, but he always said stuff that was memorable. Tonight, he said that he never had a real job his whole life. He either was coaching or flying airplanes. That's a pretty real job. But he said something even better than that, that he said you want to have your name on your back of your shirt and not on the front, which is actually true. Never really thought about it that deeply, but if you think about it, kind of makes sense and interesting. He's a man of not that many words, but they seem pretty interesting. I'm not sure how great a coach he is. We'll find out how the Browns offensive line performs this season. but he's a great man when it comes to wisdom.
Yep, motivational speaker right there.
And then we get to our final preseason game for the Cleveland Browns in the 2018 season. It's versus Detroit. In Detroit, a lot of players, they, talking about it in this episode, this is going to be their shot. They're excited. We see, backup quarterback Brogan Roback. His girlfriend is excited and nervous for him, crying.
Jesus.
Calm down, girl.
Hard Knocks did a really great job this season of showcasing the players on the cut line, but also their family connections and how it was affecting their family. And we saw that as well with Devin Cajuste and his father, who was, his best friend and, has issues with his heart, and then how he's super excited in there for him. We see it with Nate Orchard and his family. That was one of the things I really enjoyed about this season on HBO was the production value. Yeah. Really showing you behind the scenes, not just the actual on the field component, which was nice. Now in that game, Devin Cajuste starts out hot, makes a couple catches, and then he rolls both ankles. You ever rolled both ankles? I've never even heard of it.
Never at the same time.
The same play.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, never, like, always one or the other. He plays a different position. I play basketball. He plays a harder sport than I have. So I can't imagine getting rolling both ankles at the same time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
tape it up and go.
And that's exactly what he did. Like, he's a gamer. So he was like, let's let me go over here and tape me up real quick. I'm ready to go. Like, I'm on the bubble.
He looked good the last few episodes. He really looked good for the Browns, but he ends up getting cut as well.
Exactly. See what I'm saying? Just cut your boy.
Unfortunately, his father wasn't able to come to the game because of his sickness, but the positivity that him and his father both display is really quite touching.
Oh yeah, but he also is put in a really good position. Like they were saying when he came in, he didn't know a lot for this position per se. So it now again showcases him for other teams. So, this provides a good platform for him.
Agreed.
That's right. And then we saw Jarvis Landry and Todd Haley they're working on the handshake. I still don't think that that's a real relationship. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see.
Todd Haley talks about praying to the rock gods to Devin Cajuste. And then in the game, Nate Orchard, another guy on the bubble, has a strong play. He makes the interception and returns it for a touchdown. And you're watching it and you're thinking maybe this is going to save him or maybe get him on the team. Come to find out, it doesn't.
Unbelievable.
So we have Devin Cajuste, we had Carl Nassib, we have Nate Orchard, not making the team. Brogan Roback, not making the team. Antonio Callaway, draft pick, kind of thought he would make the team, but he was one of the other guys that kind of showcased a little bit more early on. Not so much, but we did see him in tonight's episode. He talks to Antonio Brown via FaceTime. It seems like they have a close relationship. Right. Maybe Antonio Brown's a mentor. What do you think about that?
I'm sure anytime you can talk to like a future Hall of Famer or a great player like Antonio, it's always a good thing, and somebody like Antonio taking the time out, he has family, he has kids, his wife, you know what I mean? He's the best receiver in the game. Like, I'm glad he took taking advice from a guy like that.
Yeah, that's more than a mentor, though. Yeah. You call somebody on FaceTime, that's serious.
Yeah,
that's the homie status.
Like I'm telling you, because he's getting ready for a season his damn self.
That's Antonio status. All right, so what do you think about the cuts, though? And this is my question to you guys out there, but also you. Who should be making those calls? Because we see in the episode that the assistant GM, Elliot Wolf, is the one calling the players to kind of initiate that initial, you need to come up, we have some news for you, and it's not great, or whatever. You kind of feel like they know once they get that call. Should that be the assistant GM? Should that be the GM? Should that be the head coach? Who should be delivering that news?
That's interesting because who makes the decision? Like the teams usually do it like by the group, by the positions. Offensive line goes to Hue Jackson. Okay, we got this guy, blah 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 blah, and he trusts the people that are in his different camps. And then they and different teams do different things. Sometimes coaches like to take that upon themselves. Mm-hmm. Like I'll be the one since I'm making this decision. Like as a man, I'll do. So I'm always a fan of that though. Like if you want to cut this kid, like you taking the time being like, listen, we got to cut you. I'm not saying he's had to do it, but I think it shows a level of respect to the player that you're about to cut.
Yeah, but he made the call, but he also sat down. The head coach sat down with them. So it's like, do you want him to make the call and not sit down? Like he can't. He's after all, even beyond the cuts, they have a job to do. So he can't make the calls and have to sit down. Like have somebody make the calls. They know what it is.
Yeah, then you do the sit down. Yeah, one or the other.
Sit down. Yeah.
I just like that the coach does like address the issue and wishes him well. Tells him it's not the end and. I do like that because it's a tough gig, man. It's 53 people, man, and that's what you have to do.
So I want to get to Hue Jackson and the cuts in a second. Before, I just want to see what you guys out there think about that. Let us know in the comments so we see that next week and during the week whenever you see this. But I find it a little odd that the assistant GM, Elliot Wolf, would be the one making the calls. I think it's great practice for him he's 35 years old. He's a son of a prominent GM. So he's getting good life experience. To me, it just seems a little odd that he would be the one making the calls and not either the GM, John Dorsey, or even the GM with Hue. It just seems a little scattered to me. I like, of course, obviously Hue has them in the office after to talk about it. And we do see Hue talking to Carl Nassib a little bit more prominently, it seems like, about it. He has some nice words to him. Something I thought was interesting before speaking about Hue was Josh Gordon. We see him in a press conference, and we see him saying that we haven't seen the best yet, getting better every day. What would be the best Josh Gordon? Because
he's a young man. It's like his stats are already ridiculous, though. Like, it's just, like, the best Josh Gordon is 16 games without getting caught with drugs or alcohol. Like, listen, all that stuff's cute, man. I love Josh Gordon, man. But the best Josh Gordon? Staying clean.
The adult Josh Gordon.
Yeah, we ain't even worried about your stats, bro. He is a phenom. He is literally, he's a freak of nature.
I mean, if he was doing that all kind of dabbling, and if he
exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, that was him on stuff. This is a bad boy. So, like, that will be the best Josh Gordon for me. Just stay healthy, stay clean.
Play 16 games.
Play 16 games.
Yeah, right. That's what I think too. And tell us what you think about Josh Gordon. We see Jarvis Landry, another new guy to the team. He's getting massage. He mentioned something.
That's not a massage. That's deep tissue pain.
He's getting that work.
And he mentions, interesting, he says, everything hurts. And you got to imagine, this is preseason, and he's saying everything hurts. Right. How's it going to be in week 3, week 6, week 9 as the season goes along? It just gets worse and worse. Without the rest and the recovery and the he's playing a quarter of the game each preseason game at max, and then he's going to go into the season. It really shows you how intense the game is.
Yeah, that's what I do like OT.
Yeah, he's going to hurt. I mean, do you still hurt? I hurt all the time. Yeah. He's going to hurt for the rest of his life.
I've played basketball in competitively in like a decade.
Yeah,
and I'm still
yeah. He's gonna hurt. And the good thing is, I mean, it's at a facility. All the teams have that they can play longer.
Yeah,
but I mean. What I like though is while he was getting that deep tissue massage, he was having a conversation. He wasn't screaming like a bitch. Like, I was like, okay.
I like, oh my God, he's getting that.
She was digging all up in the quad.
That stuff is that is painful. Yeah,
you were screaming like you're biting something. So he is straight gangster.
He's a tough guy.
That hella hurts.
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
It's tearing my eyes a little bit.
If you got any of that kind of deep tissue, man, that's like sports deep. Oh my God, that's rough.
So. That's more than I'm aware of.
Oh, God.
Like
yes.
Mike is tough.
Terrible.
It helps, though.
The athletes let us know. So we see Hue Jackson in his office frequently in the season, not just in tonight's episode. And in tonight's season finale, we see that there was a major trade in the NFL during the week, and we see as it's live, they're kind of watching about it come down through the ESPN feed and reacting accordingly. What do you think about the fact that in the office they're watching ESPN as the head coach? Do you think that plays into anything? I mean, during the season, and do you think is that a distraction of you having ESPN on as they're going to be talking football? Or do you think it's a good situation? I mean,
it's interesting. The way I look at it, even when I played or anybody I play like athletes, like that's what we do. We all just watch each other. We watch sports. That's just what we do in our off time or downtime. We're watching other players. Like that's just what we do. So it's like we're always watching.
We're watching you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's so natural to me to see them like watching. It's like any chance to get it because they care. They want to see that move. They want to see okay, so and so is going this way.
So I agree, and I understand that as a player watching. I'm wondering from the coach standpoint, is the coaches? I mean, because if you're watching ESPN, you're finding out a Bears-Raiders trade. You're also going to be watching ESPN when randomly they're talking about your own team, and maybe they're filtering stuff that you either like or you don't like. Who knows what they're saying and what you agree to?
That's true.
Do you think that you could be spending that time better?
I don't know because it's one of those things where like it's how dialed in can he be? You know, like his job's on the line this season. So
and that exactly is why I'm asking.
Yeah, I just don't think a couple hours of sports center is going to make or break his job.
You still need some downtime. Yeah. Like I mean, I'm sure he puts in the work. When it's time to put in the work, he turns off the TV. But it's also good to either have that. There might be that one story that motivates you to that next level. Like ESPN in general. Like what you do is you just turn it on as soon as you get in the house.
It's like white noise.
And it just plays.
Yeah, that's what it is for me.
And you just never know. You might hear that one story that inspires you, or you might hear that story where they're talking about your team that you didn't even, you might have missed it because now you have a different set of eyes looking from somewhere else telling you something. So I think as the head coach, to get to that position, you need tough skin anyway.
Yeah, that's me though. That's me because like that's like SportsCenter, like ESPN is like it's like white noise.
Background,
Like you put it on and you just go do your thing, and then wow, what happened? Khalil Mack, like, okay, let me sit down for a second. So I think that's kind of what it was, man. He's a sports junkie, man.
Mm-hmm. So Hugh, he's got a record of 9-39 as a head coach for his entire career.
Yikes.
that's one of the worst records I think ever for a head coach. He's 1-31 for the Cleveland Browns. There's the reasons I bring this up. I wonder, is he spending enough time focusing on the stuff that really matters and cutting out the distractions to eliminate, you could say you need downtime and stuff. This is professional football. This is big business. This isn't we're back at our home in our apartment. I just wonder, watching enough, I think, is he too nice of a guy to his team and in a situation? We're going to find out, obviously. We're getting to see behind the scenes. It'll be interesting to see how this season goes on, because we've talked in previous episodes, the talent is there now in Cleveland for sure. They've I don't know that they've earned their stripes yet with their helmets because they haven't won yet, but they've got talent besides just having numerous first overall picks, trading for guys, Tyrod Taylor, Jarvis Landry. I mean, there's a lot of talent on that team, and it really does come down to no more excuses that the players aren't performing as much as now it's coaches got to perform with the players. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out. Yeah, and that's something I'm looking for.
I agree. I'm with you, because it's one of those things. It's Todd Bowles, Marvin Lewis, Tomlin, Vance Joseph, Rivera. As far as ethnic coaches go, we don't have that many black and Hue. Like, there's not too many black or like ethnic coaches. So like, it's one of those things where I'm always, you know what I mean. So I gotta go, because I gotta put my man Rivera in there. You know what I mean. So because Juan, you know what I mean, he's Hispanic. So so I gotta put him in there. But like, it's one of the things, we don't have that many. So like, I'm always pulling for a guy like Hugh to do things the way he wants to do things, because for some reason, when it comes to like brothers coaching, their leash is just much shorter. Like there's a lot of coaches that get a lot of slack, man. And then Hugh's sitting here like a couple losing seasons, and now he's like gotta look over his shoulder every game. That's rough for me, man. It's a tough pill for me to swallow.
I hear what you're saying, and I agree to the fact that there's not as many African American coaches in the league as there probably should be.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not even saying that. We're doing way better.
But let me ask you this: I think if there's any coach that has gotten probably more than he deserves, it would be Hue in this position in Cleveland.
You think so?
Because he's won one game in 2 seasons.
You really think so?
So I think of all the coaches that you mentioned, I think he's the one he's gotten a more fair shake so far.
Oh, that's crazy. No, that's crazy. Marvin Lewis has gotten more for shake than anybody. He's been with the oh my gosh, he's been with the Bengals for like 14 years.
He's hung around for a while. Yeah, in fact, last season Marvin Lewis mentioned he was basically going to be out, and then they brought him back. Cincinnati doesn't like change. You said you got
like leaked, Lord.
Yeah, I don't think that there's ever been another in fact, I can confirm this. There's never been another head coach in the NFL that's won one game in 2 seasons and still had a job.
Look at the team.
However, Hugh's got a chance. This is a season they brought him back. I'm all for stability, so I am excited to see what happens. I do think, from my impressions of watching them, I think there's dissension amongst the coaching staff. I don't think that they really get along. There's coaches in waiting there that's got to put a little bit of pressure if it doesn't start off right.
Because they think they're smarter than Hugh, though. That's the problem, though.
I want to ask you a question, though, because you mentioned 5 or 6 coaches.
How many?
If you got a choice of one of those coaches, who do you want coaching your team?
See, I like Tomlin, I do, but Tomlin has like one of the best organizations in history of football.
Right. Yeah.
I can't judge Tomlin on that, because damn it, that is like, we're talking about hallowed ground. Like the Rooneys created the affirmative action rule in football. The Rooney rule, like I can't give you credit for coaching the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like so
he
like,
gets no credit.
Hell no, that team is well run, bro. But anyway,
right, so it's not.
I gotta go to like a terrible team that doesn't have that much like. Oh my God, Steelers are like the team. You know what I mean?
Coaching style is different.
Mike
too.
Tomlin, he came into a good situation.
I would love the ball for Tomlin though. He's my kind of guy. I'd love the ball. But Hugh, man, I like coaches that are like, yo, listen, man, we ain't gonna hold your hand. Let's play some football.
Yeah, but he's also, even though he says that, he's still on the softer side of things.
Though.
And I think he's he's using that, but that might not be the approach for the athletes. Or if he goes harder, it still might not be the approach, because every person and group is different.
Yeah, so, these athletes are a little different nowadays too.
It's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be interesting.
It is going to be interesting. And speaking of Hugh, and what's interesting is he brings in his quarterbacks that are the backups, Baker Mayfield, the #1 overall pick, and Drew Stanton, and he wants to tell them that Baker has won the backup QB job, not surprisingly.
No.
But he tells them both, and he addresses them, and then he talks to Baker for a second or two after talking to him, you've done a really good job in preseason. I want you to be prepared. We're going to get you involved. And Baker finished the preseason 35 of 61 for 501 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Had a good preseason, right? You have to think of people that you watch the show and their stock. Maybe coming in, you maybe weren't sure about Baker Mayfield. I think after watching the episodes, the 5 of them, you think a little bit more. I don't think you saw anything that said, man, that's questionable out of him.
We'll see, Mike, because it's the thing about, man, preseason very interesting, man.
Everything could change.
It's very interesting because he ain't seen, like, they show these exotic blitzes at you, and they start bringing safeties in, and then you don't got the mic on you anymore, and all your little rookie impressions and all. It gets real, man. This Thursday, man, Baker gonna be like, damn, maybe I'm glad I'm not in there real quick. He's gonna be very happy to see Tyrod play for a little bit. I'm telling you, as confident as that young man is, he's gonna be like, oh my God, the Steelers aren't messing around. He's gonna sit back and like, okay, let me drink this in a little bit. I'm glad they didn't throw me into the fire. Like Sam Darnold's the only starting rookie coming this Sunday, and Sam's like, damn, I'm starting. He's like, so it's one of those things like, you gotta just listen.
Ease them in.
Yeah, I've always been like that. Ease
so as you're watching, let us know, and you can let us know on Twitter, wherever on social media, and get at us. Do you think that Baker improved during the training camp and the Hard Knocks show? Do you have a higher thought of him? Do you think lower of him? You think something. I don't necessarily know that just because he looked good in the preseason, he'll have a good career or whatnot.
It's like one of those
but
things.
It's interesting just to see. He seemed a little bit more humble than I think.
Oh yeah.
And he performed well. Didn't say anything that made you really wonder. Like, you watch Carl Nassib give financial advice, and you're going, I don't know about that. But Baker didn't do anything like that.
He's consistent.
So,
you need somebody like that.
Absolutely.
Some final stats too on the team, and Hugh talks to the team towards the end of this entire series in season finale, and he tells them that 59% of the team has changed. That is a huge turnover. Huge. And then he says, you guys are the ones that have earned their stripes. Their stripes are going onto the helmet. We see one of the players talk about when you hit rock bottom, there's only one way to go, and that's up. And that's true in the Cleveland Browns situation. So I think now is a good time to just talk about, in general, Hard Knocks and the NFL season. But Cleveland will kick off the NFL season against Pittsburgh at home, and they may have caught a break because Pittsburgh star running back Le'Veon Bell is still holding out. And maybe it returns to camp in a day or two, but they kick off the season on Sunday. He can't possibly be 100%. I
can't believe he's still. I got to give him credit there though. He's dug in. Hold on.
Sometimes you need to do that.
AfterBuzz is our network, produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There's no network that works harder to serve television fans, but now we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that is tailor-made for you and help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about those pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel, and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know that you did in the comments, and we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and helping us be the ESPN of TV talk. But yeah, Bell holding out is stunning me, man. I gotta give him credit there, man. He's dug in.
But the way that, and we've talked about Hugh and his job and the Browns and getting off to a good start. This is an opportunity for them to maybe capitalize. Exactly. They're at home. They're playing Pittsburgh, who's going to come in without their star running back. And if he reports, he can't possibly be in the right shape compared to, all the practice. So if anything, this is giving them a little bit of a head start potentially to start 1-0.
It would blow the doors off if they beat the Steelers week 1, because the Steelers are a Super Bowl contender. There are 1 or 4 teams that I think will be playing on Sunday in February.
Who are the other 3?
Oh God!
You got 4.
Minnesota, I love Minnesota, man.
That's 2.
That's just because that's all heart, because I love Kirk Cousins. You can't rule out the Patriots.
Evan's 4 teams. We got Pittsburgh, Minnesota,
you can't rule out the Patriots,
New England, and who?
And probably Atlanta.
Oh, you don't even have to play the season. There's Atlanta. You got 2 in the AFC, 2 in the NFC. TK, what about you? You got teams you want to throw out?
I'm a cautious person.
You taking all 32?
Yeah, pretty much.
Take the field.
I usually wait until like the 3rd week, like into it before, because
it's fair to do that, because I'm telling you, week 1, like Tom Brady can get out, get hurt.
Yeah, well, exactly. Injuries in NFL are so numerous and important to changing the dynamics of the team that it's so hard to predict at the start of the season what's going to be at the end of the season. I guess it's true. New England's always there. But let us know who you guys think is going to win the Super Bowl, who's going to be in the Super Bowl, what you think of this season of Hard Knocks. What do you think from an overall standpoint of HBO's giving you production value? What do you think? I thought it was fantastic production-wise.
HBO is always on the game. Like, seriously. I haven't seen an HBO docu-series that isn't good. Like, I don't know if you saw, do you see the student athlete one?
Yes. Unbelievable.
That one already has me, and I haven't watched the, like, They pretty much stole my idea, by the way, but whatever, we'll talk about it later.
Yo, HBO, what up?
Yeah, but I mean, that alone, they've never... There hasn't been an HBO series where I watch and I'm like, man, that's not true, or they should include this. This one in particular, like they had the music going, like they hit, even somebody who doesn't watch football all the time, or maybe watches or just knows that there's a ball involved, they can still follow this because they kind of attribute to emotions.
Do you think non-football fans would watch this show?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, especially because it shows such a powerful like family element and a human element. When you bring a human element to a game, because it is a game.
Yeah.
But when you show that passion, you show like the father-son relationships, and you show like the wives and the kids
getting cut. Fired.
Exactly. People relate to that kind of stuff. Like that's, man, they bring a realism to it. HBO is always the best at what they do. Like real sports to me is the best sports show ever made. Mm-hmm. I've never seen its equal. So it's like, when I see them bring the same kind of production value to like Hard Knocks is, man, I'm telling you, because it breaks your heart though when you see people when you're seeing like players get cut, or players, you see the passion on the field, and you see like redemption stories, and you see people going to jail, and it's like it's real, man. See people insider trading, like Wolf on Wall Street stuff.
Jeez, man.
Oh my God, you can't make this stuff up, man.
So
proper money, guys.
Season 13,
seriously, bro.
The Cleveland Browns. Season 14 should be who?
Oh man.
I'm putting you as the producer.
I think they
you
should
get
do
to
CFL. Shoot.
CFL.
No, that'd be dope.
I mean, it's
especially
a whole
with Johnny
different,
football.
It's a whole different beast. It's a smaller arena. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are American go over there that go over to the CFL. I mean, why not? And I see it pop up once in a while at some bars. So I mean,
yeah, that angle would be cool, especially if you find a player that's like on the bubble to get to the league,
and then they
like that's
okay. I'm feeling it.
So, cool idea.
So TK's throwing out Hard Knocks CFL style on HBO.
But they might have to do a couple teams because, to be honest, I mean, just one team in
more
Canada,
just like a CFL edition.
Yeah, they probably want to do that because
I wouldn't mind seeing the Niners, man. Jimmy G, seeing
nice.
his progress, and just seeing like one of those hallowed franchises, see if they can make a comeback.
Okay, the 49ers. That's right. We'll have to see. What do you guys think about the NFL this season? Any further predictions? I mean, throwing out some teams. Any thoughts about? Do you think that the league is going to be in a good position with everything going on with the politically with the?
They're flip flopping, man.
I mean,
they will survive.
Where do you think the NFL is as a league in 2018?
They're fine. They're just. Oh yeah, damn. No, they're fine. The shield's fine. It's in a little bit.
The shield.
That's what I call it. Yeah, that's the shield, man. It's unbeatable. Like they're under fire more than they've ever have been because you got the left side. The concussion thing is still a thing. Players are retiring earlier than ever. So they're more. Trust me, they are way more worried about that. If you ask the owners in the league, they're more worried about players retiring early and mothers getting their kids that like play like soccer and stuff. You know what I mean? They're more worried about that than the flag kneeling. That will run its course eventually though, because most of the players are like, I'm all set with this stuff. Well,
I mean, they have also played to both sides.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh my God.
So they flip flop to the point where at one point last year, the black community said they weren't going to watch it, and then they flipped to the other side, and it's just kind of now you have this whole Nike thing, who's pretty much distracted some of those folks too. So I mean that whole thing, people who love football and who love the game,
they will watch.
The people who don't, like I know a few people who cancel their subscription. That's one.
You're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
I just bought me a subscription yesterday.
Oh jeez.
Just got the Sunday ticket for the first time. Holla at your boy. I'm excited. I never had a ticket before.
How do you improve Hard Knocks as a show?
Oh God. Because I heard the one complaint I've heard is people don't really care about the Browns, and I'm like, oh, I can't help you there. So I guess that's the only way to the people that are hating on, I guess like superstar teams, you know what I mean? But I like those. I like the teams I don't know much about. I don't know much about Cleveland. All you know about Cleveland is they have a losing culture. It's cool to see players, man, because they're human beings like everybody else. They just happen to play for the Browns.
I think for sure that the Hard Knocks this season on HBO definitely showed the Browns in a positive light.
Yeah.
It gives definitely people that just watch the show an interest in the team more and propelled the team. I mean, we talked about it in past episodes, TK, that they were doing gambling on the Browns to win X amount of games in their division, and the Super Bowl and whatnot had been way up, and that was primarily, I'd say, associated with their publicity on Hard Knocks as a show. One more question. If you were going to do Hard Knocks as another sport, which one do you think it would work best for?
LFL.
Oh, they lingerie football league? That's what for the people don't know. That's lingerie football league.
Something in my had thought about.
Oh, I'm all about because I'm all about soccer. I really am. Like basketball is basketball. They always do cool documentaries for basketball. Yeah, I would like to see like the MLS. That'd be kind of cool.
I think I'd like to throw out a sister show, Hard Knocks, training camp style with the cheerleaders.
Why not?
That goes
Don't they have,
parallel.
well, I guess Dallas just has their own show.
Maybe parallel.
They do.
I think that would be something interesting.
Biggest cheerleaders in sports right there in Dallas Cowboys.
Well, maybe they should, because then they get some real money because they ain't paying those girls.
Don't get me started on. Yeah, that's a whole nother issue. We can talk about that. Y'all need to pay these cheerleaders,
money.
man. Y'all better stop paying like $200 a game.
Jeez.
Y'all better stop. When I found out, I was like, how much a game?
Yeah.
Jeez.
NFL players are getting paid more than that.
Man, they gotta do all kinds of choreography. And they gotta maintain a certain weight and like what? Y'all better pay them ladies, man.
And then not hang out with the football players. Like, dude, how you gonna
and they can't get they swerve on. Oh, come on, man.
Jeez, at least put in the work.
I couldn't. I said, how much do these ladies get? God bless them. Jeez, that's let's do that show.
Well, my final prediction for just the general Cleveland Browns season is I think that the Cleveland Browns will improve this season. I think they'll probably end up winning about 6 games.
Not bad.
That will be improvement. I do think that Hugh Jackson will get fired by the end of the season, rightfully or wrongfully. But I do think that in 2019, they'll be set up to be really good and have a strong future. This will be a building year for Cleveland, which will be strong. And I'm excited to see what happens with the team. They have a lot of exciting players. Hopefully, of course, Josh Gordon can play 16 games. And I will be here every Sunday night talking football.
Well,
wrap up not just the Sunday night game, but the whole week. If you guys want to talk to us about football or anything social media wise, you can find me on Mike Rippe at Mike Rips on social media, and let us know what you thought about Hard Knocks this season, the episode tonight, the panel, everything. Let us know.
Evan T. Mack, Instagram and Twitter. Holla at your boy. What up?
At everything at TK Trinidad, just doing the do.
No.
Thanks so much for joining us this season, guys.
Ciao.
See you next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.